Here we have an unsupported attack by Soviet armour against some defended positions. Here the Soviets can see the two entrenchments, but they haven't spotted anything else yet. To show that the stands here aren't spotted, we've positioned them backwards. Also, some of these may be dummy stands, so the Soviets really have no idea what's here. Let's start out by going to the movement phase. We'll roll initiative, and the Germans win initiative. They reveal that they're on a hold order, whatever's there. The Soviets are on a cautious advance, and they're going to charge ahead down the road. As they do so, they'll be spotted by the Germans, and then the Germans will engage in opportunity fire. So the Germans will stop the Soviet tank movement at this position, and the other stands will move up like so. And the German player says, somewhere here I have a 37mm anti-tank gun. So they check the range, and they find the target number. In this case it's a 5. Here they're rolling 3 dice, but they get no hits. Now at the end of opportunity fire phase, we can do some spotting. The Soviets managed to spot that there's 2 more trenches in the woods here, and they also managed to spot the 37mm gun that just fired. So it's in this position. Because 2 of the Soviet tank platoons are within 12 inches, they're now suppressed by being close to an infantry stand in cover. The last tank is not, because it's not within 12 inches. Now we go to general fire phase. The platoon at the front can fire, but the 2 behind can't because they don't have line of fire through their friends. The front stand checks the range and looks for the target number. For the machine guns on this tank, normally the target number would be a 5. However, because of the entrenchment, it's reduced to a 2, and because they're suppressed, it's reduced to 0. They can't hit. They can still shoot anyway, as it will cause a morale check. Now we go to the command phase. So we're going to place orders. The Germans will place their new order, and the Soviets will place theirs. And then we will check for morale. Here the German player is saying, I've got 1 company here, so let's roll for that. And they roll a 6. That's going to pass, even though there is a modifier for the tanks being close. The Soviet player here rolls a 9. Now, the 2 platoons at the front have a -1 to this roll because they're close to the enemy. In this case, both of those stands are pinned. However, the stand behind is not, because it has no modifiers and the company's morale here is 9. Now we go back to the movement phase, roll for initiative, and the Soviets are first. They wanted to do a cautious advance, however only the stand at the rear can move forward. The other 2 platoons, because they're pinned, may not move closer to the enemy, so they're stuck on the road where they are. The Germans are on hold order, so they're doing nothing. Because that Soviet tank platoon is now within 12 inches of enemy personnel in cover, it's now suppressed as well. Now we're going to go to opportunity fire. Pinned stands can't engage in opportunity fire, even though they haven't moved, so that means only the Germans here can engage in opportunity fire. They're going to fire their 37mm anti-tank gun again. Because pinned stands are harder to hit, they're going to choose to go at the unpinned stand here. Their target number is a 5 once again, and here they get 2 hits. We check the results for those 2 hits, and both of these results come up as forced back. The way we get that is we check the front armor. In this case, the gun is in the front arc of the tank, and the penetration of the gun to find the modifiers on the roll. In this case, the modifier is +0, and so those results are 6 and 4. For this true quality, that means forced back for both results. That means that tank platoon will now have to move back a full move, and so it ends up here behind the hill. Unfortunately, that's the command tank for the company, so now things are going to get difficult for the Soviets. So now we go to the general fire phase. In general fire, the lead tank can try and shoot at the anti-tank gun. It would normally hit on a 5, but because of the cover, the suppression, and being pinned, that's reduced to 0 or less than 0. It can fire, but it has no effect except for morale. Now we go to commander morale. We place orders again. The Soviet tank company commander here can only place an order within his line of sight, and so the best he can do is put it at the top of the hill here. He can hope that the other stands in his company are within 6 inches of that order. Now we check morale. Here the Germans check, and they easily pass with a 2. The Soviets check, and here they roll a 3. They easily pass as well, even though they're modified by being pinned as well for some of the stands. Because the Soviets pass morale, those pinned markers are now removed. Now we go back to the movement phase, we roll initiative, and we get the Soviets first. Here they're trying to disengage. Of course, that order can only apply to stands within 6 inches of it. And here we can see that only applies to the second tank in the line here. The lead tank is out of order range, so it can't receive this order. So that tank will retreat. As it does so, it would expose its rear armor. However, disengaging stands can't be targeted in opportunity fire. The Germans reveal that they're on a hold order, and then we go to opportunity fire phase. Here, the Germans once again will target that tank at the front. They need 5s to hit, they get 1 hit. And this time, when they roll effect, they get a big number, a 9. That's going to cause that tank to brew up and be completely destroyed. So now we're going to go to general fire, but there will be none because there's nothing within line of sight. We can go to orders and morale. Both sides place their orders, and then we'll check morale. Also at this stage, the anti-tank gun now reverts to being hidden. That means it can't be targeted by direct fire. The Germans don't need to check morale. There's nothing that actually caused them to take a morale check this turn. The Soviets check morale, and they roll low, they pass. Now, at this stage, we'll wrap up the example. The Soviets are holding, they're waiting for reinforcements, and the Germans are doing nothing. Here, this attack has gone badly for the Soviets, but that's what you'd expect. Unsupported armor doesn't do very well against infantry.